So I was recently asked to give a little more details on how I rate movies. So basically, I split them into three categories: must watch, normal, and shit movies. So basically, a must watch is something that I consider everyone should be able to see and watch and enjoy, no matter what the scenario is. And normal movie would be just everything that you can just watch and it wouldn't matter, you know? Basically, you'll enjoy it, whatever, but it's not something that you would be like, you'll spread to your friends and tell them about and all that kind of stuff. Then, as the title suggests, shit movies are basically just horrible movies that are just bad overall. So basically, in the must watch category, you've got 1 to 10. So basically, a 10 would be something that I would think would be basically cater to myself. It would be an amazing movie, something I find to be excellent. There's no question about it, in my personal opinion. It would be something that's just phenomenal, right? I can give an example. Would be something like Equilibrium to some degree, right? It's a must watch. It's like practically a 10 in my category. Then you would have on the lower end, you will have like a 1 out of 10, which just means that it's something that I think everyone should see, but it isn't like something that I would suggest. Like, it would be something everyone would have to see, but at the same time, it's not something that, you know, would bring to the level of like people would just absolutely enjoy and have a good time with the movie. As for, let's say, 1 to 10 in the normal category, 1 to 10 would be like 10 would be basically enjoyable movies, things you can watch and just purely enjoy for whatever the movie is, right? Whereas a 1, it's close to being a shitty movie, but it isn't something that you can have in the background or you can watch but not really pay attention to. Whereas you've got the shit category where it would be a 1 out of 10 again, but it would be more like, the movie's really, really bad, but there are movies that can be really bad but has potential. I found that there are some movies out there that are really, really bad, but at the same time have potential, or it's really bad but still decent enough for you to kind of like watch, but whereas a 1 would be something that is horrendous. It is absolutely disgusting to watch. It is a waste of time. Your brain would probably rot away by watching this movie, right? So that's basically how I rate it. Now, I do go into a lot of details when it comes to choosing well, not actually choosing the movies. I never really look up any of the movies. I just pick them, I put them on the list, and then I watch them whenever it comes down to it. So I do random picks on a list of movies that I have on my list. So it's just a random pick. Overall. So yeah, so now as for how I rate these movies, now the thing is, like, I take a lot into consideration. Like, I take a lot as in the type of movie it is. Some movies or some categories I'm drawn to, whereas others I'm a little more hesitant, or maybe there's one that I'm trying to develop more of a taste for. Let's say for romantic movies, I would never really watch a romantic movie, but lately I've been diving into it because I have to get better at being able to judge these movies, rate them, and all that kind of stuff. So yeah. So now, when it comes to rating the movies, like, I take a lot into consideration. I take all of the stuff, like the type of movie. I take into consideration the actors, the story, how it flows, how it feels at the end, which, I mean, it really depends on the person, how a feeling or the feeling that you get from a movie, messaging, how it's portrayed to everyone, how the scenario runs, how believable it is, how good the actors are at conveying what the movie's all about. All these things I take into consideration. I also take into consideration how it's filmed, the color palette that they use, depending on how they use it, the style of filmmaking. I take into consideration the audio. Like, if a movie has extremely good audio, it's one of the things that I tend to notice and pick up on. So that gives it a lot of good ratings too. Um, Basically, I take a lot into consideration. So all of that accumulates the score. So it's gonna land in a must watch, it's gonna land in normal or shit. So basically that's how it comes down. So at the end, like, there are a lot of things that can make a movie like a must watch, a normal and shit movie. But at the same time, like I've come across movies that are horrible but are also good to watch. It's like a bad movie that ends up being good, or a bad series that ends up being good because of whatever quirks it has that appeals to me. So I'll usually say, like, if a movie is really bad or something, or a TV series, which I would say, like, Beauty in Black is my guilty pleasure, in the sense, like, it is a horrible series, but it's just so entertaining and like amazing for me to watch that I put it in a good category, but it's a horrible show. So I still state that it's horrible, but it's good to me. So yeah, so this is how I judge stuff. There's a lot of other stuff that I'm not remembering at this moment to say that how I pick or how I rate and judge these things. It's just at the moment I'm just running through them really quickly because I was asked to give a little more of detail on how I choose and select or give them the ranking. So yeah, so this is basically it for the really simple, fast pace on how I go about it. So yeah, so that should be about it for now. Hopefully, the person who asked me is satisfied with how I rate movies, or how I describe how I rate movies. So yeah.